before you even start to market your music, there's some things you gotta take care of first. What's good, people? It's Jagilsdorf coming back at you with another video, and today we're gonna be talking about marketing your music, but on the most basic level, like the very beginning. And what is the beginning of any journey, right? Let's say you're mapping directions. You have to figure out where you are first before you can figure out where you wanna go. So let's just get into the general basics here. Before we get started with anything, have you made music, right? Are you on Spotify? If you're not on Spotify, check out the Distrokid video up there, get your music on Spotify, then come back to this video. For the rest of you who are on Spotify, are you getting streams? You know, if you're not, are you on playlists? How are you marketing those links? Who are you sending those links to? How's your Instagram? How's your TikTok? How's your YouTube? How's your Twitter? How's your Facebook? Are you using these things? How's your Snapchat? How are you utilizing these things to get you more streams? How are you funneling people in your life back to your Spotify link? Are you doing that? That's the basics. That's like the most simple thing you could do, is just be sending people links, right? Now, the next step is to realize that your friends, they're not your fans. Your fans are a whole different group of people, and they love you for your music and then a little bit of your personality too, but we'll get into that. But they're there for the music. They're there for the content, the creativity. They like you on stage. They're interested in backstage you, but they really like you on stage. That's what they're there for. They're not there to be your friend. They're there to be your fan. Now, your friends are not there to be your fan, right? Very few of my friends actually enjoy and regularly listen to my music. It's not their style. I would not expect them to be my fan. That's not their style of music. Now, if I wrote music that was their style, I'd be surprised if they weren't my fan, right? Because it's their style. So it's debatable where the line between friends and fans really lies. But realize that the vast majority of your friends and family, they're not your fans. You might send them a link today. 6 months from now, they're not listening to your music. And that's the problem. Your fans will be listening to your music. Stop wasting time marketing to your friends and family. Find your fans, right? So let's dive into that a little bit more. Where are they? So we'll start locally, because before you run any advertisements or start spending money trying to branch out of your town, let's just start with your town, right? Now, exclusivity is huge. Right? It makes a lot of people interested very easily. So if you find a way to involve some exclusivity into your system here, it's going to be really helpful. So if you have like a Discord server or a Snapchat group chat, because I think they capped it at 32 or maybe 64 people can be in a Snapchat group chat. So if you've created that like VIP list, the super fans, and you have this VIP Snapchat group chat that only certain people are allowed to be in, you've created exclusivity. And that makes people very interested. How do they be that super fan? And those are the people who are gonna be like buying the merch and buying the tickets and coming to every single show, which, by the way, are you having shows? Are you contacting local venues and saying, hey, I know I'm new here, but I will, do a free show any night that you need me. Like, I'm available every night. You call me if one of your acts cancel and I'll be here. You show up when one of their acts cancel. Like, hey, yeah, the talent for Friday night just said that they're not going to be here. The guitarist broke his hand, so they're not going to be here on Friday. Can you fill an hour? Like, can you? Right now, if I asked you, can you fill 1 hour on stage? Could you do that? Could you keep an hour of entertained people giving you attention and giving you time? Or are they going to boo you off stage? So that's another thing you have to determine, is how much content do you have? Do you just have a single, or do you have like an album? Do you have a concert? Do you have a live set ready to go right now this second? Do you have the live version of your track? Or are you just gonna be like rapping over your song? Or do you have like the instrumental so you can rap over the instrumental, right? Do you have a live set? Are you ready for that? If not, what are you gonna do to figure that out? Like, what is the next step? Like, you need to figure out where you are. Do you have the instrumentals? How do you get them into like a perfect format so that you can bring them on stage? Can you contact local venues and find out who the sound guy is, right? Who the sound guy is, everyone calls him that. Who the engineer is, who is running the machine. Is it just an aux and you can just plug your phone up into it? If so, maybe you don't want to bring your phone. Maybe you want a separate device so that you have your phone and the separate device is always charged and it's only for music. So like your phone's not gonna ring when you're in the middle of a concert and it's gonna interrupt your concert because you're using your phone as an aux, right? Playing your backtrack. So what are you gonna do about your live set? Are you ready to perform a show tonight? Could you do it? With that being said, have you? So for those who are like, yeah, I could perform right now, tonight, 1 hour. Okay, then why haven't you in the last 6 months? I get it, 2020 is still, we're getting out of it, but in 2019, did you? Did you do one show in 2019? Because I hope 2020 made you realize how much you missed out on doing it and how you wish you could do it. So are you gonna do it in 2021? Are you gonna do it in 2022? Because if by 2023 you're still not doing shows, I don't know if this is gonna be the best career path for you, because why aren't you doing shows? What's stopping you? You need to go contact the venues. You need to contact a bookie. You need to find someone who's going to help you get on the stage in your local area. That's where you start. Before anything else, that's where you need to start. And one of the best ways to do that too, contact people who are already on the stage. I say it all the time, I use it as a metaphor, but it's so true. Everyone's constantly trying to like go to an empty show and then get people to go to that venue. Like it's like an abandoned building and then they're like, yeah, no, come to this abandoned building, and it's just like no one's showing up. You're better off going to the place where all the people are and then kicking the person on the stage off the stage and stealing the mic from them. While that's both a metaphor, I'm actually kind of being serious. Find out where everyone goes every Friday and Saturday night to watch live music that's in your genre, and then go find out how to get on that stage. Go befriend everyone who's on the stage. And you also have to remember, you can't just go to these people saying like, hey, I made music, you should like it because it's my music and it's awesome because I think so. And if you don't think it's awesome, then you suck. Like you can't just walk in thinking you're hot shit, you know, and everyone's gonna love your music because you think you're the greatest. Like you really gotta walk into that kind of humble and say, you know what? I know I'm new in the game and I know I have to pay my dues. What can I do to help you? What can I do? Like, what do you have to offer? You know, like think about it. Like, what do you even have to offer? A free show? You know, like I said earlier, free show, perfect. You know, can you fill an hour? What else can you do? Can you help people set up? Can you help them tear down? What are you doing to assist the people who are gonna end up helping you get you to that next level? And that's all local. I can't really help you with that because that's all local stuff. That's not stuff you do online. That's stuff you actually have to physically go to. You actually have to do it. So if you're not taking care of your local business, you really can't move on to the next step because you're missing out on a huge fan base, because it's a lot easier for you personally to like door-to-door salesman people in your area, and people are more likely to support you because if you're like, oh, I'm a rapper from New York City, it's just like, yeah, but what borough, what block? Like that stuff matters, right? People put pride in that. I feel like New York City is probably one of the most prideful places based on location, right? Because like, oh, like once you're a New Yorker now, like it's different. Like there's like that team mentality behind it. And when you have that sense of community. Like people like to see that this new rapper, this new band came out of my town. They like to brag about that. Like, yeah, I remember when I went and saw this band for the first time and now they're huge. Like, yeah, I went to high school with that kid. Like, people like that. Like, they're like, oh, they have the bragging rights. It's like they're advertising for you for free. They're walking around bragging about how they knew you or how they know you or how you're from the same town as them. And they're literally walking advertisements, and you're just letting them go. When you're not spending time focusing on your area personally, just going through and talking to people, creating group chats, messaging people, doing people favors in the community, like connecting people, being the middleman, working on side projects, doing people favors. Like, you need to be the guy that everyone's just like, dude, I don't know what I would do without you. Like, I don't know what I would do without you. And then 5-6 years down the line, you're gonna have a list of a bunch of people who owe you favors, and you don't even need to call them in. Those people are there, they have your back. They're friends now, right? It's not just like this list of debt that people owe you. You have genuine connections that you've built in your area, that you've built up over the last few years, and you've dominated that city. It's your city now. Now when people talk about you or they talk about that city, they're synonymous with each other, right? Like Atlanta and T.I. is a good example. Mac Miller and Pittsburgh, like they're one and the same. You talk about artists from that city, that artist is gonna come up. You talk about that artist and where they're from, the city's gonna come up. And you start to really take pride in your city, and your city starts to take pride in you.
And you start to really take pride in your city, and your city starts to take pride in you.
So before we get into anything else, you have to figure out what you're doing locally. How are you just doing the little things? Who are you sending your links to and why, right? And are you even doing shows? And that's okay if you're not doing shows. Like, it's really not that huge of a deal if you're not doing shows, right? Some people just, they're studio musicians, right? My favorite example of this is the Grateful Dead. Studio work, it's okay, but their live work, amazing, right? Pink Floyd, complete opposite. Their live work was kind of meh, but their studio work is off the charts. Like, no one had studio work like Pink Floyd. Some people like to improvise on stage, and some people like to take their time and perfect the beat. And they like to tweak everything, like inch by inch, and make sure it's perfect before they put it out. And it doesn't matter which producer or which musician or which performer you are. You could be both in some areas or another, but you need to figure out which one you are and why. And make sure you're not being closed-minded about the other. If you're like, no, we only do live shows, make sure you're spending some time tweaking things and enjoying the specifications and the technicalities of studio time. And if all you're doing is spending time in the studio, making sure everything's perfect and tweaking every little knob, make sure you're spending time on the stage just screwing around, because you want to make sure that you're taking in the advantage of guess and check, right? I feel like that's why I personally like live performance. You can do a lot of random stuff and just see if it works and literally see if your audience likes it because your fans are right in front of you, right? So for starters, we just need to figure out where you are and what you're doing. And literally, where are you? Like, what city you are in. And I'm curious, like, comment below, like, the area you're in, and I want to know how many live shows you've done total. Like, how many individual live events have you ever performed as of today, as of you watching this video? Comment your city and how many total live performances you've made. I'm curious. I think that it's a huge asset to have. If all you're doing is studio stuff, you're on Spotify, that's great, but you gotta do at least one show. Like, if you're not a huge live performer, like, it's okay, but you gotta at least start working with people then. If you're not gonna do a live show, can you at least just go contact someone who is and find out why they are in your area? You find out someone who you'd be willing to do a collab with and ask them, why do they like to perform live? And just have a conversation with them. Because don't let me convince you. I want someone from your area, in your genre, to convince you. Because I'm just a guy on YouTube, right? You need to go figure this out for yourself. You need to go to that city and you need to go find everyone and ask them why they do it. Definitely check out the rest of this series that I got going on here. I'm gonna start making more marketing videos, and I figured what better place to start than where are you from? Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you check out these videos right here and subscribe right about here if you haven't, and check the description down below. I got a bunch of links, sample packs, and stuff like that you'd definitely be interested, so don't miss out on that. There's even some free stuff down there for you too, just saying. Thanks for watching. Peace.